What's going on, ladies, gents, and kids of all ages? It is Eric coming back at you once again from the Nerd Cave, and I have to apologize for my hiatus. You can probably hear it in my voice, but I've been a little bit under the weather. My son actually decided to get me sick back to back, so that was fun. That, in combination with a new set coming out, has kept us very busy. I actually recorded 2 box break videos, and neither of them got uploaded because both the boxes that we opened were doo-doo garbage. So if you've had better luck with those box breaks, definitely let me know in the comments below what kind of cool stuff did you guys open. I always love to hear it, but as always, I gotta give a big shout out to the Patreons for making giveaways on the channel possible. Thank you guys so much to the people who take the time to support the channel, either via the giveaway, via commenting, or just taking the time to watch the videos. Letting the commercials play is huge for creators, so if you have the time, let the commercials roll. We definitely appreciate it. But today we are going to be talking about another deck list. We're ready to talk about a Christmas deck list, Ruby Emerald. I'm pretty excited about this list. It's pretty funny. It's actually got some pretty good plays into the current meta, and it's really going to catch people off guard because this is just not something that's been a super meta relevant deck, even though people were very excited about Powerline heading into this set. Powerline's not something that's seeing a ton of play at the tournament level, so I'm definitely curious to see how that pans out going forward. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this deck list. So the first card is going to be 3 Curse Merfolk Ursula's Handiwork, a 1-cost uninkable 0/1 stat line questing for 2. With when it's challenged, you're going to make your opponent discard a card, so you can definitely punish them for challenging. Fire the Cannons is definitely more relevant in the current meta, taking out stuff like Curse Merfolk and Fred, which is why we are playing less of them in this list, but it's still a great way to bait out those Fire the Cannons so they're not using them on some of your other characters. But we also have Fred in that 1-drop slot, a 1-cost inkable 1/1 stat line questing for 1. With whenever he's challenged, you're going to gain 2 lore. So if your opponent is having a challenge into those characters, it's going to be great for you because you're going to be getting some benefits, but if not, you're going to be able to go ahead and get that removal out of their hands. Then you can make way for your Clarabelle coming down and not getting removed. This is our other 1-cost character, Clarabelle Clumsy Guest, a 1-cost inkable 1/2 stat line, so also it loses out to Fire the Cannons, which is why you want to bait those out first. He is questing for 1, and when you play this character, you may pay 2 strength to banish an item. Item's not as relevant in the current meta, but we are still seeing some items getting played, so Clarabelle could be taking advantage of that ability in some instances. Last card in the 1-cost slot, we have 2 He's a Tramp, a 1-cost inkable action song. Not a card that's seen a lot of meta play, but a card that I think is actually pretty good in the right deck. Chosen character is going to get +1 strength this turn for each character you have in a play, so it's going to do Tramp's ability, but it is a song, so keep that in mind. You can be singing it, especially with that Fred. You don't necessarily have to be questing. You can definitely be using him to sing. Next up in the 2-cost slot, definitely a card you gotta have. We got 4 Powerline taking the stage, a 2-cost inkable 3/2 stat line questing for 1 with Singer 4. I think his stat line on a 2-cost is absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, much like other characters in this deck, it does put him in a position where he too loses out to Fire the Cannons, so you're going to want to bait those out before we get those power lines down. And then in terms of dealing with that removal beyond Fire the Cannons, more likely than not your opponent is going to be playing Strength of a Raging Fire in those steel matchups, so Ursula Deceiver can be really good for ripping those out of your opponent's hand and punishing them for choosing them. A 2-cost inkable 1/3 stat line questing for 1, with when you play this character, you get to look at your opponent's hand and choose a song card and make them discard it. So obviously Strength is a song card. There are definitely also some other relevant song cards in the current meta. Last up in the 2-cost slot, we have 3 Heffalumps and Woozles, a 2-cost inkable action song. Chosen character can't quest during their next turn, and you're going to draw a card, so this is going to be able to filter, kind of do a cantrip and replace itself, and it's going to prevent an opposing character from questing, giving you that additional turn to get them off the board or to close out the game. Moving over to the 3-cost slot, we have 3 Max Goof, Rebellious Teen, a 3-cost inkable 2/3 stat line questing for 1, with when you play this character, you may pay 1 ink to return a song card with cost 3 or less from your discard to your hand, so there's going to be some song cards you are able to drudge back up, like Heffalumps and Tramps. Sometimes he's just going to be ink, or he is also a great shift target. Still in the 3-cost slot with our maxes, we have 4 3-cost inkable Max Goof Rockin' Teen, a 4/3 stat line questing for 1. Great stat line on a 3-drop. Same with that power line. Instead of giving it to them in the willpower, they've given it to them in the strength, so they're a little kind of different than we've seen with Amber Singers. He is a Singer 5, so he's going to be able to sing quite a few of the songs in this deck, and this character can't move to locations, which doesn't really matter for us. Next up, we have 3 of the other power line, Musical Superstar, a 3-cost inkable 4/3 stat line, so another 4/3 for 3. Questing for 1 with if you played a song this turn, this character gains Rush this turn, which is going to be fantastic with something like He's a Tramp, where you can throw him down on 4 and then He's a Tramp him and make him even stronger and challenge in, so he could potentially be challenging like a Maui even a turn sooner. Next up we have 3, You're Welcome, a 4-cost inkable action song. Shuffle chosen character, item, or location into its player's deck, then that player draws 2 cards. Ideally, you want to be in a position where you can target yourself with this to give yourself some additional card draw when it is needed, but in those instances where you need to get rid of something, it's great to out those Dumbos or other characters like Maui Shark that you're having a hard time dealing with, and you give your opponent card draw, but especially in the instance of Dumbo, they were getting card draw anyway. Our other song, we have 3, Be King Undisputed, a 4-cost uninkable action song with each opponent chooses and banishes one of their characters. So it's going to be a great way, again, to deal with those Dumbos, especially if you've cleared off the field effectively otherwise. Jumping directly from the 4 slot to the 6 slot, because we have no 5 drops in this deck, we are on 3, Max Goof Chart Topper, a 6-cost inkable 4/5 stat line, questing for 2, shifting for 4, so he can potentially become like a 4-drop. And whenever this character quests, you may play a song card with cost 4 or less from your discard for free, then put it on the bottom of your deck instead of into your discard. So you may be able to play those Bee Kings or those You're Welcomes again for free with Max Goof, especially if you're shifting him out. The star of the show here, and the reason I bought 4 starter decks, we have 4, Powerline World's Greatest Rockstar, a 6-cost inkable 6/4 stat line, questing for 2, shifting for 4, just like that Max. Singer 9, so he's going to be able to sing literally everything in this deck. And once during your turn, whenever this character sings a song, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a song card with cost 9 or less and play it for free. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So if you're singing a song with him, you get to potentially play another song for free with cost 9 or less, which can be pretty crazy in this deck. Next up we have 3, Maui Half Shark, a 6-cost inkable 7/5 stat line, questing for 1 with evasive, and whenever this character challenges another character, you may return an action card from your discard to your hand. So keep in mind that is just challenges, not challenges and banishes, even though it is going to banish most things it challenges. And whenever you play an action, you gain 1 lore, so that in and of itself can be a great way to help close out games. Throw Maui Shark down when you got some singers ready and start singing those songs. Next up, the last card in the 6-cost slot, we have 3, A Pirate's Life, a 6-cost inkable action song. Your opponent loses 2 lore, you gain 2 lore, and it is Sing Together. So this song is going to be an MVP in this deck, just like it always has been in so many Ruby decks. Back to Ruby Sapphire when DKP first popularized it. Next up, into the 7-cost slot, we have 3, Clarabelle Light on Her Hooves, a 7-cost inkable 5/6 stat line, questing for 2, shifting for 5, so it's shifting just the turn after those power lines and those Max Goofs. And at the end of your turn, if chosen opponent has more cards in their hand than you, you may draw cards until you have the same number of cards in your hand. So this is going to be your primary card draw. You very much want to get this down. It is definitely possible, especially with those Blurple decks taking advantage of things like Hades and Into the Unknown. They may inadvertently be ramping you, so even if you don't have that shift target for Clarabelle, there's a real possibility in this meta that you get to 7 anyway. Next up, in the 8-cost slot, we have 3, Under the Sea, a 8-cost uninkable action song. Sing Together 8, so it is going to be able to be sung together by those smaller characters, and put all opposing characters with 2 strength or less on the bottom of their player's deck in any order. Obviously there's a bunch of characters that this is not going to affect. There's a lot of good strong characters in the meta, but there are many small characters. There are many small characters that Under the Sea is going to hit, not only in those Amber decks but in those evasive decks that are being greedy, taking advantage of things like Genie. Under the Sea is potentially going to clear out their board, and then if they still have that Dumbo down, you have that You're Welcome or Bee King to finish the job. And the last card in the deck, and the only one in the 9-cost slot, great card to end up ripping off of a song Sing with that power line, is a 9-cost inkable Eye to Eye action song. Sing Together 9, so even if you don't have power line or another character that's going to be able to sing for 9. It is a sing together song. Each player draws 2 cards and gains 2 lore, so you're giving your opponent lore, you're giving your opponent cards, but you're also giving yourself lore and cards. And keep in mind, Eye to Eye is definitely a game closer type of card, or something that you want to play when you're way ahead of your opponent. It is worth noting that if you go to 20 lore and your opponent goes to 20 lore and it is your turn, you still win the game, so please keep that in mind. That is how triggers work in this game. So Eye to Eye can be really super good for closing out a game. And that is my breakdown on Ruby Emerald. It's a deck that I'm really enjoying playing. It's been a lot of fun in play testing. It doesn't always have the perfect play line into everything in the meta. Maybe there's some tweaks. Do you have a version of this that you think is more meta relevant? Do you think I should be playing something like Louis to be able to give those opposing characters reckless and prevent them from just questing into my face? Maybe I should have Louis in this deck. It was hard to kind of suss out that 3-drop slot because there's a lot of good 3-drops for this type of build in general. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Did you guys like this deck list? And when you see those toys, video games, and those shiny power lines off in the distance, remember, it is not a mirage. You guys have a great day.